All right, welcome to this Crypto Victory market update. Today is December 22nd, and I am doing a special video because some of you asked for a recap on what happened in the last 24 hours. And of course, anybody who is, watching the market updates, following along, you'll know that we've been talking about, the fact that we have just gone parabolic right through here. At this point in Bitcoin, the last 3-4 weeks have just gone straight up. And we know that anytime lines start looking vertical, that we're going to give up the parabolic side of that curve. So we saw it last night. We had a big drop. And so we're just going to talk about what happened. And I also want to just do a quick video to help people understand so that they're not as alarmed by what has happened. Market corrections are some of the healthiest things that you can have, and as investors and traders, we love seeing them because it means market mechanics are working. It means that they're being, rational, and things can't go up forever. So not only does this not surprise us, but it actually signals that this market is healthy, and plus it gives us great opportunities to buy these dips. So let's dive right in. So as we know, the last couple of weeks have just been absolutely crazy, right? In December alone, we have gains in excess of 150%. What I like to do and what we've done in videos in the past is look at the week chart, right? So now we've got a week interval, each candle is a week, and you can see this curve goes straight up. So of course we're going to come back down, right? We've been looking at different fib levels that we can use both from this extension but also from the greater trend, right? Because this felt like it was bigger than just, the last extension. And so, of course, we did see price came all the way down, just below 50%, hits off the 0.5 fib. We have bounced back pretty quickly, right? So you can see here that, this rebound play was pretty nice. It was even better for LiteCoin and some of the alts. But right there, 40% gain already. So it's nice to get in here and grab some dips. But we see this parabolic, right? And we just look at the kind of growth curve for a market cycle around big breakouts or parabolic runs. You have the early adopters getting in, right? This is all early adopters, really well back here, right? Innovators, early adopters, right? Then more and more people, people get shaken out right here, more shakeouts, but people keep buying. And then suddenly around 6,000, maybe to 8,000 is when everybody started catching on. That's when suddenly you're seeing stuff on CNN, every segment on CNBC. Someone's either promoting or making fun of Bitcoin, and this is when the hysteria starts. And everyone's got FOMO. Everybody buys, and they don't know what they're buying. They also don't know, or they don't think that it's ever going to stop. And then, of course, we hit some resistance and we pull back, right? And when we look at this resistance, when we go look at the 20,000 range, we actually tried it twice. So we had a little bit of a double top, right? We had this little candle right here. We also had this price action right up here. And when we didn't create new highs and keep going, right, and following this trend line, we broke down. That was the first signal, right? And that's when I took some profits in this zone right here once we started breaking down. And then sure enough, we've had this big drop since then, right? Another 42%. So, it just kind of shows you that we didn't pass resistance, we broke down, but you also have other factors right now, right? Plus you have, yes, we hit a major milestone, 20,000, right? It's hard to breach those. And when you look at the history of Bitcoin, you'll see that at most major milestones, we had big corrections. So this was no different. And I'm going to show you a chart in a second that kind of shows you the patterns that exist with this Bitcoin, curve, or this Bitcoin price data that really doesn't cause me to have too much concern. And you look here and we have a breakdown, right? But we couldn't get past 20,000. And then there's also, now a lot of robot trading. There's a lot of stop losses. There's a lot of fresh money along this growth curve. This whole portion right from here is pretty much, it's all new money. Really from 10,000 on, maybe 8,000 on, all new money. So it's easy to shake out those hands, right? And then people are also selling because it's holidays. People don't want to be holding as big of bags. People want to sell their bags to pay taxes on gains. There's a lot of reasons why you've got pressure to have this capitulation. And then sure enough, of course, we had it last night. So those are some of the market factors that went into this drop. And I want to show you why this really isn't too alarming at this time. And that's because when you look at Bitcoin's history, you can see here that we've had these dips before. We are following a very healthy and somewhat predictable market cycle. So, back here, back in June, we had a drop from 3,000 all the way down to about 1,400, right? That was over a couple of weeks. What's interesting is these keep accelerating, right? The speed at which they accelerate. We'll go over that, but so this one is a matter of weeks, and then we have a breakout, about 166%, followed by another big drop, this time almost 40%, followed by another breakout of 145%, followed by another drop of 30%, and then we had a very big breakout right here, which this one we did have this interim sort of lightning crash right here, this really flash crash, but we equalized and kept going. But this was our big parabolic breakout move. You can see it's exaggerated because we actually broke, at that time, we actually broke this bear channel. The bull channel, right? We were operating in this nice bull channel, and that price action actually broke out of it pretty hard. So that's when, excuse me, that's when we knew, this was going parabolic right here at this point, right? So this is a great breakout trade opportunity. We break right out, and then we went parabolic. So you can see this was an outlier, right? And that's why we kind of had this idea that, yes, everything was going really well, but this idea of, more than a 35% drop was definitely in the cards, and it could still go lower, no doubt about it. But it's not surprising to see a drop like this, right? And so we had a little bit of consolidation right through here, one last push, and then the big capitulation. So, it's really tough for a lot of new investors to look at their accounts just drop in half, but the hold on for dear life is, it's a meme for a reason. It's sometimes a good strategy if you can't cut out. Now, ideally, you cut out up here, right? And I was very grateful to cut out. I sold into profit just because we were up so much. The altcoins were up, Bitcoin, LiteCoin, Ethereum. My cost bases were very low, and same with the other guys. And we just decided to take some profits. And it's always a good idea to take profits. So that's what we did right up here in this range, 17,800 range, 17,800, right up through here. And then we also took some profits on the front side. So been shaving some profits up here, and then it was nice to have some ammo to go back in and grab some dips. I had some limit buys in 13,000 range, the 11,000 range, and managed to snag one 12,800 on a limit, and then I missed a little bit of this action because I was asleep, but grabbed another limit, I believe, here at 11,200 area, right at this resistance turn support area. So when you look at Bitcoin, you have these pretty standard moves, right? If we chart this out, switch to the 1 day, you can actually see this pretty predictable and consistent pattern of resistance turning into support, right? So right through here we had resistance, right, twice, and then we have a breakout, turns into support on this capitulation, right? And then in this area, here's another one. All right, so in this area, you can see it again. You've got resistance right here. We have a breakout, and then we have the big capitulation, and it comes right back in that same area of support. And so you keep seeing these again and again, right? It happened back down here as well. You have resistance, turns into support. So we've had these pretty consistent breakouts. And so along this line, this is kind of the guidance that we use so that we don't have weak hands during the drop. We can kind of see what's happening. Breakout, test support, breakout. You could set your limits through here and grab some nice dip buy opportunities. All right, and now that we've gone parabolic, again, this is where we broke out of the bull channel. Now that you're broken out of this bull channel, now you're kind of in a parabolic breakout situation where you don't even really have trend lines anymore. You're just coming back. So we kind of came back into this support area right through here. So the other thing that we were watching last night all in real time is, I drew a trend line right through here, and the price action was right down here around 1200, and I actually felt pretty comfortable. It was actually right before I went to bed, and then I thought we were bouncing off, and we had that little flash crash down. So there's always these fake outs and these not blow off top, but the opposite of kind of a blow off bottom, where we actually went and touched 10,300. So it moved pretty quick, but these are healthy for the markets, and so we'll see what happens now. Price will likely kind of consolidate, and we've kind of got a new trend line here, right? Which is nice. We can start to make more decisions, and we can actually start to look at the future and start looking at some fib extensions to see where we might be going next. All right, so you look at the 1, we're up around 25,000, 1.6 up around 33,500 area. These prices are all on GDAX, by the way, or Coinbase. So that's what we've been looking at. So if you're tuning into all the Crypto Victory updates, you're in the Slack channel, and you're paying attention to what's happening before we get in these situations, you can really plot this out, right? And that's what we've been talking about, anticipating these crashes, starting to use the tools we have to predict where the drops might go to, so we can set limit buys and grab some of these and actually play these dip buys instead of panicking on the way back down, wondering when the bleeding is going to end. And there's a saying in investing where you want to be buying when there's blood in the streets, right? And that's what happens. People panic, and this capitulation is everybody saying, damn you, Bitcoin, I'm done, I'm out. I should have never bought. I bought up here at 16,000, I'm out. And then they dump, and it just bleeds out. And then the buyers step back in because we've all got limit buys, and we're pushing it back up. So, we'll have to see what happens from here. When I zoom in, we bounce right off that support line. And now, we've been watching. I put out a note into Slack earlier about watching this trend line, this immediate trend line. It's very, very immediate trend line, right? So we did break it. We're kind of setting a higher low. We made an extension, higher low. It looks like we're grabbing some support right through here. Should be nice if we can continue getting that support and pushing out. For those that are not or have a lower risk tolerance, you might consider waiting until we breach this broader trend line before going in. This is called paying for more data or paying for more confirmation, right? So if we breach this trend line, then we are, you have confirmation that we've reversed this immediate trend line, and we are pushing out to continue this overall bull run. So looks like a making of a V bottom right here. We'll see what happens. On the contrary, we're always looking at any possibility. So on the contrary, we could end up going and testing this trend line and failing. And if we fail, we might see a breakdown. If we have a lower low, right, this point is lower than this low, then that could lead to, maybe another test and a breakdown, and we could be heading lower. Which, if we do that route, we could see a double bottom right here, which would be the best scenario for all the bulls. We would get a double bottom, and we would probably reverse out of this. So you can see there's a number of potential outcomes. Got arrow problems here. Maybe a double bottom and then maybe this kicks back around, right? Or there's no double bottom and we just break down. And if we do, that will be a sign that the bleeding is not over, and then we're looking at probably this 8,300 area, 8,500 area. This is an area I, definitely won't be surprised if we wake up and we see some price action in this area. I will be buying. I already have dips set or limit order set to catch these dips in case it happens, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. We can see here that we've got pretty predictable price action. A nice 50% correction is good. It's always a good thing. So we invite everybody to keep in Slack, stay in Slack, ask us questions, keep up on the market updates, and keep learning from this. If this was your first big market shakeout, then welcome. You're now officially indoctrinated into the crypto world. These shakeouts happen, and we hope that you did a good job, holding steady. Or even if you cut out and was able to grab a bigger bag, then congratulations. That's the name of the game. All right, everybody, that's a wrap. Have a great day.